UW360 is proudly supported by Pacific Office Automation, copy, print, workflow, and IT. Problem solved.
Today on UW360, it's a 230-acre park right in the heart of Seattle. It's home to one of the most important tree collections in the country. And now the UW Botanic Gardens has been voted one of the best university gardens in the country. Plus, who says doctors don't make house calls anymore? Today's virtual clinic is taking UW medicine patients back to the future. We'll also see how the UW is working with local high school students to help make their college dreams come true. And we'll dive in and do some number crunching with scientists from all around the country who teamed up right here at the University of Washington. Hi everyone, I'm Carolyn Douglas. Welcome to UW 360. Our region has a vibrant theater scene, and the University of Washington plays a critical role in it. For example, a new musical at the Seattle Rep coincides with a new musical theater program at the UW. Austin Siedentoff reports.
Theater. It's exciting, it's powerful, it's moving, and you can't ignore it, particularly musical theater, which is why every year thousands of Seattleites line up around the block to watch it.
We love going to the theater. You know, it's the immediacy of it. You're in the moment. You can't be looking at your cell phone or wondering what the kids are doing. You are focused on the characters in front of you, and it's such a so few things in life are that way anymore.
Avid patrons of the Seattle Repertory Theater are in for a surprise, because coming to the Playhouse this year is Come From Away, an original play and the first musical to grace the main stage in 20 years. And of all things, it's going to be about September 11th.
Come From Away is not about 9/11. It barely discusses 9/11 because we know that story. It discusses what happened on that day.
Come From Away details what happened to the passengers of flights that were rerouted when American airspace closed on that fateful day. Dozens of aircrafts from all over the globe were forced to land on the small island, Newfoundland.
It is sort of a tricky play to talk about, right? Because you say the 9/11 musical, and people raise their eyebrows.
The world came.
And a town of 9,000 became a town of 17,000. And the stories of hope and humanity and healing and the human spirit against the darkness is what Come From Away is about.
As the show's producers, Kenny and Marlene, will tell you, theater has the power to bring people together. And that is what they want to do with musical theater in Seattle.
No, you gotta understand.
It'll carve a path of light in your soul. It'll refreshen your spirit. And Come From Away does that in a magical way. The second it starts, your 9/11 tape starts. And you had an experience that day, and Marlene had one, and I had one. So after 95 minutes of laughing and crying, when it ends, what you're left with is, wow, weren't we all a little nicer to each other for a while? Didn't we call our parents a few more times?
I'm on a lookout, overlooking something worth taking the time to stop flying by.
Good, Kendra.
It's an exciting time for musical theater in Seattle, and Kenny and Marlene have a vested interest in it, as evidenced by not only their new play, but also by their $1 million donation to the UW's College of Arts and Sciences to help fund a musical theater degree program, a collaboration between the departments of music, dance, and drama.
Why not bring those together to create a program for musical theater in a city that has a rich culture in that regard?
And of course, UW, at least in my experience, UW feeds the artistic community here. The artists who graduate from UW go right into Seattle. So to know that those folks are also going to be armed with musical theater skills is very exciting.
It's kind of cool to think that something you made might be worn by a professional actor in a professional show, courtesy of the UW.
We want the students to actually be successful in musical theater when they leave the walls of the university. So we are actively working with the local community to figure out what that means.
When they graduate, they can actually find work in the local environment. And this is something very unique to Seattle.
Theater in Seattle is dependent on collaboration between productions, playhouses, and schools. it looks like more and more the UW is going to be playing an important role in the community.
Support theater. Go see a show at the UW or see a show here at the Rep. Just go see a show. Speaking of which, mine's starting right now, so I'll see you next time.
For more information about the Seattle Rep and to see its current lineup, just head to the link on our website. When we come back, the doctor is just a click away at the UW Medicine's virtual clinic as UW 360 continues.
UW 360's Husky Money Moment is made possible by the generous support of BECU. BECU, more than just money.
Welcome back to UW 360. Every fall, roughly 6,000 of the best and brightest students from all around the world enroll as freshmen at the UW. And while each arrives with his or her own story, you can bet it took at least a few helping hands to get them to class. Austin Siedentoff shows us how some generous folks from the UW are working hard to promote a college-bound culture in our neck of the woods in this BECU Husky Money Moment.
With college tuition costs soaring nationwide, many hopeful collegians turn to Uncle Sam. But the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, can be difficult to navigate.
When I was doing my application process for colleges, I'd get stuck and I'd just stop and not know what to do. Here, I was just like pacing right through it and had people helping me who knew what they were doing and experts on it.
Okay. Fortunately for Alonzo, there were several experts on hand to provide assistance, including a group of students from UW.
The DREAM Project is a volunteer group of students. Basically, they come out and they assist students, helping students with admissions applications, scholarship applications, and also with the financial aid piece, because a lot of those students have come to school on financial aid assistance.
Okay. It turns out James Flowers knows a thing or two about giving back himself. Following a day's work at the university, he stopped by Renton High to volunteer his time and expertise to those in need.
I'm considered a financial aid expert. We're there to provide that additional guidance to the DREAM Project students. We know about the FAFSA application because that's what we do Monday through Friday and sometimes on the weekend. Make sure that they're completing the application as accurate as possible.
Some of these students have come from high schools outside Renton, and some have hopes of attending colleges or universities beyond King County. For them, this is where higher education begins. Prior to determining where to apply, they must first learn which schools may provide the financial assistance they require. And thanks to some helping hands, this mother now has a dream of her own.
He's going to be the first one to go to college and the family.
All right, from higher ed to healthcare. Who says doctors don't make house calls anymore? Thanks to today's technology, medical professionals are available any time of day or night through the growing field of telemedicine. And UW Medicine is helping lead the way with its highly successful virtual clinic.
And then if there's a prescription needs to be written, then we can do that.
They look like tiny little blisters almost.
For Jennifer Herman, the health concern happened, as it so often does, over a weekend. A mysterious rash on her youngest son Aiden's face.
We were sitting right here and he was sleeping on my lap, and I started Googling, small blisters, and that was very scary.
It was something the mother of 4 hadn't seen before, and she was dreading having to pack up all her kids and head to urgent care to get Aiden checked out. Fortunately, she didn't have to.
So I logged in and put a request in for an appointment, and within 5 minutes had a call back from a physician.
Jennifer was able to have a doctor see Aiden over the phone via FaceTime through the UW Medicine virtual clinic, which is available to anyone in Washington State.
So does anybody in the household have any symptoms? Anybody?
It's something that I think is just invaluable. So convenient, great service.
And you just want to get better quicker, right? I mean, you feel miserable and you want to get better faster. So this is a great convenience for many patients.
Dr. John Scott, who oversees the UW Medicine's telemedicine program, says the virtual clinics are a hit with both patients and healthcare providers.
This is being very well received by patients here in the Northwest.
They're happy that they're providing a service that that can save the patient a trip to the emergency room or urgent care. So, it's really helping the patients, and so we're happy to be able to help our patients.
He says the virtual clinics are meant to address non-emergency health needs like coughs and sinus infections and headaches, or, like with Aiden, a mysterious rash, which fortunately turned out to be nothing serious.
I think it's totally safe to just monitor him and see what happens.
Each virtual visit costs $40. On-call doctors and nurse practitioners can evaluate patients and write prescriptions through video calls via FaceTime or Skype, or just an old-fashioned phone call if the patient prefers, any time of day or night, every day of the year. Dr. Scott says more than 150 patients a month schedule a virtual house call through UW Medicine, and that number is expected to grow quickly.
I think it is the way of the future. So our former head of Medicare, Don Berwick, thinks that by 2017, about 70% of all of our outpatient visits will be done this way.
For patients like the Hermans, that wave of the future is already part of their everyday life.
Do you have any questions for me before we sign off here?
Jennifer says the virtual clinics have transformed her family's health care by allowing them to address their health concerns faster, more conveniently, and less expensively, keeping everyone in this home happier and healthier.
Just incredible peace of mind that it's great doctors providing great care, and I feel really lucky to have it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
When we come back, data scientists from all around the country team up at the UW to collaborate about number crunching as UW 360 continues. Welcome back to UW 360. Graduate students from all around the country gathered at the university this past summer. Some were engineers or computer scientists, others were biologists or statisticians. But every single one of them was also a data scientist. As Stacy Sakamoto reports, these students were here to learn from each other and from some of Seattle's top tech leaders.
They came from all over the country.
My name is Raina Harris, and I'm from the University of Texas at Austin.
From Wright State University. This is in Dayton, Ohio.
I'm at the Florida Institute of Technology.
Graduate students with different areas of expertise.
I work with how people use social media during disaster and crisis.
My focus is on quantitative fisheries population dynamics. So my dad likes to tell people I count fish.
All brought together by a common goal.
What we wanted to do was give them exposure to data science methods, but also to give them exposure to the professional environment, to see what, if they choose to be a data scientist, and why wouldn't they? What would they need to be successful at Microsoft or Google or a company like that?
Data science is the analysis of huge quantities of data using automation. Tasks that used to take weeks can be done in a matter of seconds, enabling researchers to find patterns and put the information to good use, like determining the best medical treatments or what areas are more prone to landslides. But industry leaders say researchers need more than automation, they need collaboration. That's why the data science workshop was so important.
Science is getting harder because the data is exploding and because you have to know more about more stuff in order to bring things together. And the only way to sort of fight back against that complexity is to network and to do social things, to make your solutions available for other people.
Data science is going to change everything.
Ernestine Psalmonds Easter is a program officer with the National Science Foundation, which sponsored the 3-day data science workshop, hosted by the University of Washington in the summer of 2015.
I have just been absolutely fascinated with the level of expertise and maturity with these graduate students.
Big data has been very, very good to me.
The grad students collect and analyze huge quantities of data as they conduct their research, like Denise Marty, who sifted through social media to study people's emotions to vaccinations.
Are they afraid of vaccination? Are they confused about vaccination?
During the workshop, she met Sabrina Farah, whose research focuses on something quite different: patient satisfaction after a hospital stay.
How good was the physician care?
how was the discharge process, how was the billing process.
It was amazing how people are using the same techniques maybe that I'm using, but on different data sets.
The two swapped ideas, and by the time the conference wrapped up, they were already thinking about the next step.
Maybe we can publish some papers together.
That was exactly what organizers and industry professionals hoped to hear.
These kids are going to form lifelong type relationships where they will cause their own research to be accelerated just through the interactions of being present at this workshop.
In modern life, in science, at Google, everywhere, the things that we tackle are so big that no single person can tackle them. We attack them in teams. And so being able to work together with people is important, and this is a start for that.
1, 2, 3.
UW conference organizers say the event was a huge success and they'd love to see it become an annual event. We'll be right back with a look at one of the driving forces behind the award-winning UW Botanic Gardens as UW 360 continues. Welcome back, everyone. The UW Botanic Gardens has been voted the best university garden in the country by Best Colleges Online, tying 3 other universities for the top honor. And when you take a tour of the gardens and meet the director, it's easy to see why.
It's a cherished oasis, tucked inside a bustling city.
I'm fishing. I really like nature, and I have a favorite tree, and I really like playing here.
Beloved by visitors young and old, from near and far, and all walks of life.
It's pretty amazing, actually. As a photographer, I can barely take 2 steps without seeing something that I haven't seen before, and that's really interesting.
It's an appreciation shared far and wide, with the organization Best Colleges Online declaring the UW Botanic Gardens one of the best university gardens in the country. That includes the UW Center for Urban Horticulture, home to a research facility and wildlife refuge, and the 230-acre Washington Park Arboretum, home to one of the most important tree collections in North America.
We're walking into Rhododendron Glen, which is one of the oldest parts of the Arboretum.
The award was met with gratitude, but not necessarily surprise, by the UW Botanic Gardens director, Dr. Sarah Reichert.
It's a great thing for us, but I'm not surprised because we're good. We're Huskies.
But Dr. Reichert says this award was particularly special.
One of the things I liked about that ranking was that it wasn't a beauty contest, that they actually ranked us on important things like how many endangered species are part of our collection and what kind of education and outreach programs we have. So it really was significant. I mean, they were weighting us on real things that matter. And this tree was known to science through the fossil record, but it was believed to be extinct. And in the 1940s, it was discovered in a remote area of China.
And no one knows better just how well-deserved that recognition is. Dr. Reichert has spent nearly her entire career here, starting as a graduate student collecting plant specimens in 1986 and working her way up to director.
It's beautiful. The people are wonderful. We can do so many good things for the community and the region here. Why would I leave here? It's perfect.
She lives and breathes these plants and trees, their Latin monikers rolling off her tongue like family names.
This is a big leaf maple, Acer macrophyllum, one of the most common trees in Seattle.
And like so many families, the relationships behind these gardens can be a bit complicated. The Arboretum is co-owned and operated by the university and the city of Seattle, with support from the Arboretum Foundation. The city owns the land, the university owns the trees and manages the programs, and the park department manages the park functions.
This beautiful place is actually a very complicated place that takes a lot of work to keep it looking like this, but all of the 3 partners are enthusiastic about what we're doing here and want to see everything succeed here. You see a lot of tussock grasses here.
As you can imagine, it's no easy task maintaining all these grounds and overseeing all its programs. There's never enough time or funding to do everything that needs to be done, and it's a constant challenge to manage it all. But for Dr. Reichert, it's a labor of love.
Even when I'm sitting in front of the computer, I always, after lunch, I get up and I walk around and just look at things and, you know, stretch my legs a little bit and enjoy that I work in such a beautiful place. No matter where I'm working any day, I've got a beautiful place to go out and enjoy.
A garden for all seasons, adored by staff and visitors alike, which never ceases to amaze.
It's so magical, and it reconnects us with the magic within all of ourselves to be out here.
The Arboretum truly is a garden for all seasons, with different areas designed to showcase different seasons of the year. You can go see for yourself by taking one of their weekend walks, which have a different theme every month. Just head to our website to learn more. And that does it for this edition of UW 360. If you'd like more information on any of the stories you saw today, just head to our website at uwtv.org/UW360. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Carolyn Douglas. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with all news stories from the University of Washington.